What's up, everyone? It's the Johto Mod Squad. This is going to be our intro.
Yep,
And
that's great.
I'm Butts. You guys want to
I'm
introduce
Jalen.
yourself? Okay.
And I'm Mess.
And we're here to review the teams that were drafted in GNDL Johto. All right, so we'll start off with Medellin Milcery.
The
Um,
Meledin.
Dude, I feel like your Spanish is bad. Um,
I fear that's French,
Dude, it's for sure Spanish.
if you say so.
I'm literally going to Google it right now. Um,
I've seen
Because
this
it's in
coach
Colombia,
speak
right?
French in
Yeah,
Discord.
it's in Colombia. It's literally in Colombia.
Is it in
Yeah.
Colombia?
It's on the
Yes, it
screen
is
right now.
Colombia.
It's on the screen
All
right
right,
now.
The
Just so
never
second
mind
everyone,
largest
then.
city in Colombia
I
after
was
Bogota.
right. Yeah, there you go. Boom.
Nicknamed the City of Eternal Springs, says Wikipedia.
And so we'll start with reviewing this team. So we've got Lopunny Mega, Landorus Therian, Raging Bolt, Ferrothorn, Petrant, Cobalion, Starmie, Comfey, Shuckle, and Glaceon. Now, this is a pretty amazing, especially the top five. I mean, like you just see that straight out of NatDex OU. Got some pretty good speed tiers here. Anything you see, let's start with James.
Obviously, I like Landorus. I think the Landorus Ferrothorn combo is a classic. I think the Landorus Ferrothorn and the Petarant are all going to be a really good defensive core, especially leading on the defense side. You have Landorus Therian with Intimidate, you have Petarant with that very high base defense
For
and active
sure.
recovery. Obviously, there's the Comfy there with 5 kills. I'm definitely high on Comfey. I think one of the best Calm Minders of all time, if not the best Calm Minder of all time, because of triage. So broken.
Sure.
Shuckle for hazards. Um, what else? Obviously, Lopunny. Lopunny's very good. I think all a very good all around team.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing that jumps out to me is like what you got four rockers, Landorus, Ferrothorn, Cobalion, and Shuckle. So like you're never gonna be without hazards, right? A lot of different
Mm-hmm.
angles you can set them up for. You got spikes on the Ferrothorn and webs with the Shuckle. You like don't necessarily need multiple setters of either of those. So I actually really like it. And in terms of hazard control, you got Starmie, who's good. Landers with Defog, like two of the best hazard controls you could ask for. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, or you could just run all boots. I think it's a great team. Thoughts, Luke?
I agree. I do like the spin
Uh,
blocking, the Petra.
yeah.
Yep.
I think I like this team. It's got one of my drafted goats, Cobalion, on it. I don't know why it gets Volt Switch, but it does, and it's sick as hell. I will say one thing is this team seems to be just for to me really psychic weak. I don't see any dark types.
It's a good point.
So I can see this team getting overwhelmed by a barrage of side spam. But other than that, I think it's a pretty solid team, and it's got a lot of tools to be good.
I think you're very right about that. That's a good point that I didn't notice. All right. What do you guys want to move on?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sure.
All right. So we'll go on to the Sydney Piplups with. Oh, wait. We forgot to do. So the other thing we're going to do is try to guess the first name of every coach. And I think we actually know this coach's first name.
Mm-hmm.
Say, I think it's JP, is what
Big
they
JP.
go by.
JP is
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. But this next one's a mystery with the Sydney Piplups. So this team's Greninja, Kyurem, Annihilate, Rotom Heap, Sandy Shock, Switch Cantera, Gardevoir, Klefki, Cloyster, Switch Cantera, Grafaia, and Leavanny. They did actually make their own draft review on their YouTube channel. Gotta shout that out. It's a great channel.
I see a lot of good Pokemon. It's really a whole lot of mixed attackers with Greninja and Kyurem uh, taking the lead. Annihilate, the bulk up king, and a lot of prankster on this team with Klefki and Grafaiai. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. Sandy Shocks is a wonderful Terra captain. I think makes up for a lot of its lack of uh, versatility with typing.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I think
right.
something big about this one is he's got Greninja, Sandy Shocks, Klefki, and Cloyster that can all set spikes, which kind of offsets the fact that he only has one rocker. and Sandy Shocks. Obviously got the Weber and Levani too. I think that the spike pressure from this team is just insane. And then when you've got massive attacks from Kurum coming out, you know what else is massive? You guys could say low taper fade. It's okay.
Oh my god. I'm not saying that.
um, but yeah, I think the attacks coming out from Kurum with spikes stacked up is going to be amazing, and the switches that Annihilate forces, like with its setup, or even with its scarf sets, I think it's going to be pretty successful. Jay, like, you see anything out here?
I like. Oh, there are a couple picks I like a lot. I like the prankster duo of Klefki and Rafai, both crazy utility picks. Klefki is gonna have that light screen, the obviously the spikes as well, thunder waves. Yeah, so light screen reflect. That'll help get that cloister set up or that annihilate set up, or even have the annihilate take less damage so it can stack up its rage fist. I think it's a really good. The team looks like its goal is to get a sweep going, either with Greninja or with Annihilate or with Cloister or even with someone like Huron, like Dragon Dance.
For sure.
And then the rest of the team is sort of set up to facilitate that. I definitely like it a lot.
Me too. All right, so it seems like we're in agreement. This is a great team, and I do want to shout out the Terra Cloister. I think something I've used in the past, and I think it could do an insane amount of work just with the pressure that Shell Smash puts on. So in terms of first names, I think the Sydney Piplups are from Australia, and Steve Irwin's from Australia. So I'm feeling Steve. Thoughts?
I my
And
guess
I am Steve.
Yes, also the Minecraft movie.
Yeah, it's also the Minecraft movie.
my guess
Uh,
is Zach.
Zach. Okay. I could see a
um,
Zach.
I'm gonna soul read here with George. I don't,
George, okay.
Interesting. George. Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
could
I like it.
I like it. Yeah, I could see it.
Throwing it out there, seeing if it hits.
Okay. Let's move on then. Honestly, I don't think we mentioned, but the speed tiers look pretty excellent for this team. You're spanning everything around 100 and above with Greninja. But yeah, okay. So next up, we got the Clayton Knuckle stacks. We've got Darkrai, Mega Gardevoir, Gliscor, Quaquaval, Ogerpon Hearthflame, Toxapex, Sui, Rotom, Knuckle Stack, and Illumise. Now, Jay, like, I know you're a huge Knuckle Stack fan.
I'm a huge pterodactyl. I was gonna say I'm a huge
Yeah,
pterodactyl stack
I
fan.
know that's like your
I
guy.
think
Um,
I think the pterodactyl stack is probably the best 3 pointer. It's just so good. I mean, a lot of people use it for like rocks and for salt tier shit, but what you really want to use it for, in my personal opinion, is to go for a sweep with Terra. I think with a high special defense stat, with a Violite and Iron defense, you can really go on like a crazy sweep with your Knuckle stack.
yes, I
Anyway, that's
agree.
enough of me rambling.
No, no, no.
We can go on to the rest
I
of the team
agree.
now.
I think Gliscor and Toxapex make up an amazing defensive presence there. Obviously, you got the ground type in Gliscor. You're not really missing any of the essential types, ground, fairy, dark, I'd say, should be defensively on every single team. And then, yeah, what else you got here? Really good hazards with Gliscor. You got spikes with Ogerpon, obviously. Knuckle Stack can set rocks, so there's a decent amount here. You got spin on Quaquaval and defog on Gliscor, so you're also sitting pretty on and defog on Rotom too, I guess. So you're
Yeah.
sitting pretty on the removal. And honestly, I actually just like everything about this team. You got the strong physical attackers with Quaquaval, Ogerpon, and even Gliscor can run a really good Swords Dance set, as we've seen in OU. And then Darkrai and Gardevoir bring unmatched power on the special attacking side. Mess, you see anything here that you want to talk about?
Honestly, I think this is a pretty well-rounded team. There's a whole lot of unstoppable forces and a whole lot of immovable objects, which I think is going to be an issue for a lot of people, depending on how their team is set up.
For
We've got a
sure.
dark type. We've got uh, some of the best like uh, hazard setters and hazard removers around. Toxapex with like toxic spikes. Uh, Gliscor with everything else.
Yeah. Does Gliscor get toxic spikes?
I think it does
I think
actually.
it
Yeah, I
does.
think it
I actually
does.
know it does. I played against a Ranbat
Yeah.
with it like a day ago.
Yeah. Dude, and the Ranbat King Illumise on this team too.
I was about to say the
Just
Yeah.
Ranbat Demon, dude.
yeah.
How I don't know how many of my Ranbat games have been absolutely ruined by Illumise, but
I
I'm honestly excited for these low tiers here. The Rotom with Will-O-Wisp and the block spin, obviously the Knuckle Stack and the Illumise. My favorite thing about this game is that it's sort of kind of hybrid. You can play it a bunch of different ways. You can play it with like sort of like a stall type play style with your Gliscor, your Tox Specs, your Gudra, play it and your like Knuckle Stack play it really slow. Or you can do like Quackable, Darkrai, Gardevoir, Ogerpon, like super offense.
for
So I
sure.
like how this team is. You can play into a lot of different matchups with it.
I do really like this team. Okay, and with that, I feel like we should move on to the speed tiers actually
Wait,
are
no
also
name?
similarly good. Yeah, that's what
I
I was gonna say
forgot.
we should move on to guessing the name.
Oh,
Let's see.
all right. Hear me out.
Um,
It's
uh,
Clayton.
Layton?
oh, I see
That's
from
the
the
name.
name. It could be
Maybe.
Clayton.
I like that
Also
guess. I like
Australian.
that
I kind
guess.
of like that guess too. Clayton's a good, it's an
Or
informed
Clay.
guess. An informed guess.
I think Layton's probably the best guess. I think Andy would be my guess.
Andy.
Ooh.
I'm gonna just put it out there. I think his name is Fernando.
Fernando? I
Yeah,
like it.
I'm just
I like
I
feeling
it.
it.
like it.
It's Fernando.
I
All right,
Yeah.
so
I think that's
let's
that's probably the most important part of this, just to go with your gut.
for sure, yeah. All right, let's
Yeah.
move on to the St. Louis Starfall. With the Zamazenta Crowned, Mandibuzz, Skeletor, Alomomola, Hydrapple, Clodsire, Swellow, Electro, Tisui, Lantern, and Fortress. So it's Zamazenta Crowned and then a bunch of lower point Pokemon, obviously outside of the Terra
Mhm.
Hydrapple you see there, with a huge Regenerator core, Alomomola and Hydrapple there, obviously. This team, and double unaware too. Double Regenerator, double
Yeah,
unaware. This has to be the stall team to end all stall teams.
it
Uh,
is.
Mess, what are you seeing here? Anything you like?
Uh, you know what they say? Play with your
What do they
favorites.
say?
I think I've seen half of this team from Tony before, and he's done really well with those Pokemon. So I think
Yeah.
maybe he can do it again.
You know, I
Who
think
knows?
I think you're right about that. Like he's used the Skeletors before, Alumola for sure, and I think he had Clodsire last season and Swellow actually. I think you're exactly right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
I think this is a tried and true set of Pokemon. I think it's a solid base of what's known with a couple of fun little new things thrown in there, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do with it.
For sure. I think, yeah, hazard wise, I mean, you got Clodsire and Fortress, which both can set up both hazards. I think so. You're pretty much fine there. And you got Fortress for spin. I know that Mandibuzz gets defog. And honestly, a lot of these Pokemon, like Mandibuzz, Skeletor, Alomomola, Hydrapple, Clodsire, if you run into them on the ladder, they're running boots 100% of the time. So Tony could do that too, especially because Zama Crowned. I mean, it resists Stealth Rocks 4 times. So as long as you're not getting spike stacked, I think he could reliably just run no removal and five
Yeah.
pairs of boots. Um, so I honestly think this looks very good as a stall team with Zom's Crown cleaning up in the back. Jalek, what are you seeing here?
So yeah, when you think my favorite part about the team, when you think about it, like the first six picks are Zamazenta, Mandibuzz, Skeletor, Olomola, Hydrapple, Clodsire. You see those guys, you think stall immediately, right? But I
Yeah.
like it's not all stall. It's definitely stall with a bit of offense into it. I got Zamazenta that can do huge damage with Iron Defense Body Press. You have Skeletor that sets itself up with Torch Song. Hydrapple does big damage with Fickle Beam and Draco Meteor. Uh, and even like some guys in the back, Swallow to Terra Normal Swallow obviously does huge damage, and then you got one of my favorite low tier picks, Electro Sui. So I'm
Yeah,
definitely really excited about this team. I think this team is kind of one of the teams that I would draft. This tends to fit into my how I draft normally. So I'm excited to see how it does.
you did win a chip with Electro Desui back in the day. One thing I do
I
really
did
worry
and
about,
Skeletor.
yeah, and Skeledirge. One thing I do really worry about is the lack of a fairy type on this team. Obviously, Hydrapple can Terra Fairy, and it really does like to do that. But I think being reliant on that is for sure not a good thing. Especially because Zama Crown can check most physical dragon types, but If you run into like Hydreigon with these Specs Draco Meteors coming out, especially into Double Unaware, I think it's going to be tough. So that is the one big issue here. And then the speed tiers are also a little tragic as you miss out. You have the gap from 80 to 125. Um, yeah, I mean you're pretty covered below 80, I guess, but oh, not
Yeah,
really.
all the base
It's
100s.
Yep.
yeah,
One
you're
All the
thing.
base 100s are going to
Oh,
run the additive modest natures
that's
you're saying.
correct. What were you saying, Mess?
oh yeah. One thing I'd like to point out is that this team is a lot more geared towards a special attacking side than a physical attacking side. Their highest attack Pokemon is Crowned with 120 attack, and the next highest one is Ferrothorn with 90.
Okay, so unfortunately, I clicked the stop recording button right in the middle of this because I was checking the recording and accidentally clicked stop recording. So we lost the commentary about guessing Tony's name, but I went out on a limb, guessed it was Antonio. The other two guesses were Tone, just Ton, and the Y is a nickname. And the other guess I think was like it was something that was unrelated to Tony. So definitely let us know if you think those guesses are right.
All right, we're back now, and if anything breaks, I'm going to be the saddest. Okay, here we go. So next up, we're gonna go to the confused Cramorants with Lukey, but maybe not Lukey based on the showdown name. It's confusing. Um,
Hmm.
and so we've got Great Tusk, Roaring Moon, Golden Go, Slowbro, Mega, Screamtail, Torkoal, Silvally, Venusaur, Boufflant, and Emolga. Now, this looks like a great Sun team. You got obviously the past Paradox Mons. I mean, this was like straight out of OU before they banned Roaring Moon. Tusk, Moon, Gold, Screamtail, Torkoal, and Venusaur. And Venusaur Cantera, plus Silvally, who's one of the greatest draft mons at the price point it's at, just because of the versatility. Yeah, my first impression is really positive of this team. How about you, Mess?
I will say this is a Sun team. It's got a nice core between a really bulky Water and Slowbro Mega, Torkoal, which is sets up Sun and is a wonderful spinner, and Yawn user, and Venusaur, which in the Sun is the fastest thing around. It also takes good advantage of the Sun by having lots and lots of Paradox Pokemon with Great Tusk, Roaring Moon, and Screamtail, which are all going to proto-synthesize their power from the Sun.
Correct.
Yes, and then with Great Tusk, rocks are no issue, as
Yep.
well as getting rid of rocks. I see at least two spinners and a defogger,
Yep.
just off the top of my head,
You think Amalga gets
and with
default?
probably
I have no idea.
I've never checked, and
Silvally
with
and
Goldengo, yeah,
yep.
and Goldengo means that the rocks never go away.
Yeah, I do think though, obviously it's Torkoal and Great Tusk have access and Screamtail have access to Stealth Rocks, but there's no
Mhm.
Spiker on this team. I think you might be a little underutilizing the Golden Go with no Spiker, but
I do
Jay,
like.
sorry, you go.
That's all good. I like the team. It's definitely a pretty good Sun team. I think Slowbro Mega on the Sun team is very interesting.
For sure.
I definitely see. I'm definitely excited to see that over something like a lot of the Megas you see on Sun teams.
Like Houndoom.
I know Charizard comes to mind. Houndoom, which I've actually never seen used, but that's a discussion for another day. Obviously, you have the core of this team, Goat Cole, and then you
Yep,
have. I know Mess was talking about the Terra Venusaur. I think Terra Venusaur is a super scary special threat. It can do pretty much anything, especially with that Terra. It
for
can
sure.
even if you like leave it alone for a turn, if you switch out into like something that you think will resist a move and it uses growth, it's gonna be really hard to come back from.
For sure.
So I think this team is really exciting. I'm excited to see it in action more this season.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Okay. And in terms of the speed tiers, it actually does look really good. You got 95 and 103, like around 100. Roaring with 119, and then you go down to Obviously, Slowbro is really slow, but kind of lower end Venusaur at 80. I think covers a really wide range of speed tiers, and I like it. Um, Obviously, I talked about the hazards, and I guess that just leaves the name of this coach. So I'm gonna guess. Is it Lukey or is it not Lukey? I'm gonna guess
It is
real.
not Lukey.
Yeah, real first name. I'm gonna take a risk. I'm gonna go against the showdown name. I'm gonna say the first name of our coach is Lucas.
I will say, as a person named Luke, nobody else can have my name
Good point.
because I've taken it.
That's true.
Therefore, I'm going to say his showdown name is correct. It's not Lukey.
So
It's
what is it then?
Lucius.
It's
Wait, Lucius or Lucian?
Lucius.
Like Malfoy
Okay,
from
Yes.
Harry Potter. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that answer. I like that answer a lot.
I do too.
I think that not Lukey. He's trying to throw us off the scent here. I think it's Lukey.
Okay, all right.
All
So I
right.
mean, one of us has to be right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Between Lucas, Lukey, and Lucius, one of them's got to be right.
we're
All
really
right,
covering all our bases here.
for sure. Let's move on. All right, next on we got the big guys, coached by Ryan M. Now this might be a tough one to guess the name of.
This might be a tough one too.
But
Yeah.
we've got Latias Mega, Iron Bundle, Heatran, Rillaboom, Donphan Florges, Okidogi, Bellybolts, Double, and Misdreavus. So, um, obviously got two extremely strong special attackers at the top, Latias and Iron Bundle. Rillaboom and Okidogi, I guess, bring the physical pain, but I do think, and Donphan's got a pretty good physical attack, just not something I usually think of as an attacker. But it does lack a little bit in like physical immediate power outside of Rillaboom, and Rillaboom really struggles into like Skarmory, Corviknight, Celesteela, steel types that don't touch the ground. Um, and then yeah, so Mess. Actually, you went first last time. Jalek,
That's
what are
true.
you feeling about this
I
team?
agree. This is definitely, I'd say, a very specially biased team. I mean, you do have Rillaboom, Donphan, Okidogi, but I do agree that something like Skarmory or a lot of other steel types or flying types can do a lot of damage here. Um, I do like Iron Bundle. The Iron Bundle pick is very good, just because you have something
Okay.
that's faster than most things and can hit for huge damage 80% of the time. Um, Florges, I'm a huge fan of. I'm always been a huge fan of Florges. With a defog, you do so many things. You can do defog. It's a huge special wall. You can do like a Calm Mind Draining Kiss set. You can even have a use of aromatherapy against like particularly Stolly teams. I'm pretty excited for that. Belly Bolt, obviously the one of my favorite low tiers just because of Electromorphosis is so powerful, and its move pool is a little limited, but what it gets is definitely very good. It can slack off Toxic naturally. One of the very few Gen 8 Pokemon to do it.
Yep,
Latias Mega is a good piece to round it out. Good defensive piece.
for sure. Um, yeah. There's something else I was gonna say, and now it just slipped my mind.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, okay, so I was gonna comment on the speed tiers. So you got a pretty big gap from 110 down to 85. 85 is actually not fast enough that actually no, it's 88. So I guess if you respect double, then your base 100s are gonna have to run Jolly, but if you're not respecting double, then your base 100s can run Adamant or Modest. So a little problematic there. Obviously, the high speed of 136 is pretty good, and your mid tier speed is covered pretty well from what 88 to 75 or so. Hazard wise, Heatran has Stealth Rocks, Donphan has Stealth Rocks. Is that it? Am I missing anything?
I don't
I
know.
don't think so. I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think
I
anyone
think
else
we have
Yeah,
gets anything.
and you got
crazy hazards on this one.
Spin on Donphan, Defog on Latias. Now, it's not a huge problem because Heatran and Donphan usually want to run rocks anyway. On a lot of the sets that they run. But if you're running like Scarfed Heatran and you want a like spin plus attacking Donphan, you could run into a situation where you're not able to get hazards up, which wouldn't be great. Um, so I do think that could be a problem, and I think the speed tiers could end up being a problem. But honestly, I do think it's a lot of good Pokemon put together, so I'd be excited to see how it goes. You guys
I
have any
agree. I
closing
agree.
comments, or are you ready to guess the name?
I like the fact that this team on paper is really ground weak, but between Rillaboom and two Levitate users, as well as the fact that most of their ground weaknesses can be teared out of, I like that they can get rid of like the most common uh, attacking move to do good damage,
For sure.
or attacking type to do good damage. I
Yeah.
will say I agree, not really physically offensive. I can see it. Maybe they could run into like a maybe yeah. Skarmory could probably wall half this team,
Well,
and
the
the other half
physical
could
half.
probably kill it. Yeah, I don't know.
But
Run a belly bolt.
yeah, you could just switch between a Scar and Bliss core, and it would look pretty good. I mean, obviously Latias Mega can run some physical sets, so I don't want to discount that guy, but you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. So do we want to
Yeah.
guess the name?
I got one.
Okay, let's hear it.
It says Ryan M64.
Okay.
I think he's. I think he's full of it. I think he's lying. I think his name is Brian.
I
Brian.
like how he thinks
No
that
way. He could be right.
every single one of these guys is lying about their real name.
I
Now,
would.
look, Ryan Ryan M. So his name could be like first name Ryan, last name is uh like Mobley, like Evan Mobley from the Cavs.
That's
But
true. That's true.
it could also be that Ryan is his last name and M64 is his first name. Never thought about that, did you? So I'm gonna say his first
Ah,
name is Matt, and his name is Matt Ryan,
okay.
All
I
right.
like it. Matty
like the
Ice.
2017 MVP of the NFL. Yeah.
Mhm. I am gonna be lame and boring and say Ryan.
Okay. All right. One of us
All
has to be
right.
right, I guess.
Yep. One of us has to be right.
All right. Next
We've
up.
exhausted every option.
Okay. Next up is Cheosen and the Glass Cannons with Palafin, Gouging Fire, Iron Treads, Rotom Wash, Grimmsnarl, Moltres, Sceptile Mega, Earthworm, Cradily, and Dusclops. Now, this team, if I'm. Oh, wait, I am mistaken. So, this team, a lot of physical attackers, I will say. Grimmsnarl obviously has really good physical attack. Gouging Fire, Palafin, Treads probably is going to be physical most of the time. We got Rotom Wash, which can be a strong special attack with Nasty Plot, but you usually see it a little more utility focused. Same with Moltres, can be a very strong special attacker, but you usually see it more utility focused. Sceptile Mega, some people in this call probably think is a real Pokemon, but it's fake. Let's just be honest about what it is.
Lies and
Yeah.
slander.
It's not even like it's just a negative on the team, I would say. That's a I'm joking. James is just a huge Sceptile fan. Um,
I actually have something to say about it later.
yeah, I do actually I really like Palafin Gouging Fire, especially because you got two physical attackers who could theoretically break for each other. Like if you got to use your physical check to stop Palafin, then Gouging Fire is going to be able to run over you in the end game, or vice versa. And obviously, we see Palafin already got 6 kills in one game, which is pretty insane. So I'll pass it over. Which do you guys have anything you want to
I
start
do.
out with?
I have
Let's hear it.
right off the bat. You are hurting to find any Pokemon on this team that doesn't have really good pivot moves. Palafin is Flip
That's for
Turn,
sure.
Treads and Rotom Wash both have Volt Switch. Grimmsnarl can
One
Parting
shot.
Shot out there with Prankster Parting Shot out. Moltres can U-turn, and not one but two Pokemon on this team can Shed Tail out and give Palafin
They
or Gouging
cannot shed
Fire.
tail. They can't
Oh,
shed
they can't.
tail.
Crap. Never mind. They can't Shed Tail out.
All right.
Between yeah, Palafin, Gouging Fire, and Sceptile, make a really good Fire, Water, Grass core. Uh, Same with I don't know. There's a lot of water types, fire type. Wait, it's a double Fire, Water, Grass core. That's kind of crazy.
Palafin
That's new.
gouging and Sceptile. And then you're
Yep,
saying Rotom Moltres
yeah,
and Cradili's the second court. You're
yes,
right.
sir.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of
And
that's height.
he managed to do this without missing any like of what I would call like uh indispensable types. I think you gotta have a ground type obviously to stop Volt Switch. Definitely gotta have a fairy type and a dark type, which you get with Grimmsnarl. I mean, he's got pretty much every type of immunity, right? Moltres. Excuse me. Um, no normal type, but I'm honestly a normal type hater. I think you don't ever need a normal type. Um, yeah, I actually really like this team. If you look at the speed tiers, you got someone at 100 down to 91 up to 106, and then a max at 145. I actually think these speed tiers are great. I think you cover everything
Yeah.
you need to. And hazard wise, does Cradilly get stealth rocks? Question of the day. I
I
don't
think it
Yes.
know.
does. I'm almost 100% sure it does.
I'm
Okay,
almost
well,
100% sure it does.
they say it does. If they're wrong, flame them in the comments.
It
Um,
Yeah.
might also get toxic spikes. That's a
Worth,
soul read.
I don't think it does. Orthworm obviously gets both hazards. Treads gets rocks, and Treads is one of the best rockers in the world. Also a really good spinner. Rotom Wash gets defog, Moltres gets defog. I think hazard wise, you're doing pretty well. If you ever need spikes, you can bring Orthworm. And the Earth Eater ability obviously makes it a great physical wall. So with that, I suppose we'll move on to.
Oh wait, sorry,
Wait,
I haven't said
the name.
what my opinion on this team yet,
Yep,
because I have a very strong opinion about
let's
Sceptile
hear it.
Mega. I think Sceptile Mega is very, very good here, and I'm going to explain why.
I'm ready to hear.
Palatine, right? Normally, I feel like a lot of times Palatine likes to run Choice Band, right?
Sure.
And I've been searching for an answer for this for a while, which is what is the perfect pair for Choice Band Palatine?
Yep,
And the ideal is, right, you come in on something weak to water, or at least something that'll get dented like in a big way by Palatine. And then you use Slip Turn, and your opponent switches into like a bulky water or a bulky grass or something, and you Flip Turn out into a different Pokemon, and they take care of that bulky water, that bulky grass type. I think that Sceptile is a very, uh, very good helper for Palatine here because it's grass and dragon. That beats the water types. That beats definitely beats the electric types that could use like Thunderbolt or other sort of electric moves on Palafin, trying to take it out.
Not to
Um,
mention it gets lightning rod.
yeah,
it
for
gets Lightning
sure.
Rod. It gets U-turn, so it can pivot back. It gets a whole bunch
Did
of
you
other
say
stuff.
Sceptile gets U-turned?
Does it not? I
That's
thought it did.
for sure fake news.
It does not get U-turn.
But anyways,
He lied.
it does function as a really good helper for Palafin, which I'm
All
excited
right,
about. And then a lot of these other guys really like Gouging Fire, Treads, Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash especially is good for shoring up the ground weaknesses like Gouging Fire and Iron Treads.
for sure, for
Um,
sure.
and obviously Orthworm's there too to shore up that ground weakness. I like this team. I'm excited to see this team in action.
Let's move on to guessing the name.
I think Jason, it's a bluff.
I think
Glass
Jason too.
cannons, Doug Glass Cannons. I think it's Douglas. I think that's his name.
Douglas. Okay, never mind. I don't agree with
He's
Mess
done.
anymore. I think Jason.
You think it's Jason?
Yes.
I'm also pretty sure it's Jason. So let's move on. Next up, we got the Ceaseless Edgers. Nice. And we've got Tapu Koko, Sneasler, Landorus, Iron Crown, Blastoise, Mega, Incineroar, Serena, Sableye, Frostmoth, and Glimmet. Now, I know, Luke, you're probably confused, but Blastoise Mega cannot Shell Smash, in fact.
Good to
Um,
know.
Really?
yeah, I know. So you got a pretty nice electric terrain team with Tapu Koko plus Iron Crown. Obviously, you got Landorus, so you can try to stop other powered up electric types that the other team might try to bring at you. I kind of like Incineroar as a pick here. Nice defensive, obviously GOAT of VGC, but also pretty decent in singles. Double spin with Blastoise and Serena, defog on Landorus and Coco, so you can remove hazards pretty well. Something that's for sure a weakness of this is I think Landorus and Glimmet are your only ways to set hazards. Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys see anyone else besides Landorus and Glimmet?
Uh,
I
I'm
don't think
I'm
so.
trying to look. I'm
Yeah,
looking right now to see if
and most of
nope,
the
it
time
doesn't.
I
Okay,
don't think
never
you
mind.
want to spare the spot on Landorus to put rocks in there. I think you'd usually rather use that spot for Earth Power or something. So I do think that's a pretty massive weakness. Um, the fact that you nearly have to run rocks on Landorus because I'm not gonna lie, bringing Glimmet is probably a throw anyway. Either that or you're just gonna have to play with no hazards. I think, yeah, that jumps out to me as a pretty glaring weakness. What do you guys think?
I like a lot. I like the unburden Sneasler. I like that line. I will say, uh, there's a whole lot of physical attack, uh, a whole lot of special attack,
I think there's
lot
a
of
good amount of both.
firewater grass cores.
Yeah,
Uh, Sneasler clicks the funny button and might get us sleep.
for
Uh,
sure.
Actually, no, you won't because the
His
electric terrain's going
terrain,
to be
yeah,
up.
electric terrain's up. Yep. Yep,
I'm
yep.
wrong.
Yeah, I guess you get the other debilitating statuses though.
Yeah.
James, you see anything here? Want to talk about?
Obviously, yeah, Incineroar is a big thing I'm seeing the GOAT. But
Yeah,
also Tefcook with Sneasler with the electric terrain is always a really good combo. I think Sneasler with any sort of terrain is always a really scary combo because you just
for sure.
get that seed off, you get the unburden boost, you press Swords Dance, you have a pretty decent shot at winning the game. I see another Ranbat Demon in Sableye
For
with
sure.
Prankster
Yep.
Will-O-Wisp, Prankster Encore,
Dude, hear me
a
out.
whole bunch of
Stall Sableye.
Ooh.
all
The
Sableye.
worst ability of all time.
I
Uh,
don't know about the
oh,
worst ability.
I thought
Not
you
as
were going to
bad
run
as
a defensive
Truant.
Sableye.
Not as bad as
Wait.
Truant. No. Stall just makes you always attack second.
And I don't think that Glimmet is super useless into the right matchups,
I
but
guess. Yeah, 105 special
I do
attacks
agree that
though.
it's definitely not the.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
That is crazy.
same as Abra.
I like that.
Yeah.
Good low tier pick.
So with that,
I will say,
oh
uh, final thought.
yeah,
Terra Iron Crown with booster energy or a special attack boost kind of goes crazy.
I agree.
And also, if we're talking about Ranbat demons, Terra Frostmoth is is a good Ranbat demon. Terra Ground Frostmoth.
for sure.
I agree that Terra Iron Crown especially is really scary. You can just set up a couple Calm Minds and pretty much ruin your day.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. Okay, so with that, do we want to guess at the name of our friend Lonk here? Who I think by GMT plus 3, does that mean they are
I was gonna
French?
say I'm doing a little bit of
I think they're
metagaming here.
I believe they
French.
are French.
So I guess that's gonna narrow it down on what kind of names we can guess. So who wants to go first?
Um,
I'll go first.
I
I'm
think
oh
you go. You got.
yeah, I
No.
got it. I'm feeling we go a little French Revolution-y. I think it's Maximilian, middle name Robespierre.
That's probably
I
the best
like it.
guess that'll come out
Eh,
of the three of us.
eh.
I think Blanco Russ, Blanco Russell,
Russell? Okay.
Roussel, or
Okay,
no,
okay.
Rudy. I'm going with
Rudy?
Rudy.
Okay, a
Agreed.
I don't know
little
that. I don't know Rudy.
invincible
Yeah.
action, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I'm basing this on.
Okay.
I am going with Michael.
Michael. Okay. So we just nobody
I
else
do
gets the
believe it
French
would
name.
be
That's chill.
yeah,
All right. All right.
Michelle.
We want to move on to the Funky Fennekin. Okay. Well, this team
Yeah.
has the other Laddie Mega, Latios Mega, Meowscarada, Terapagos, Urshifu, Tinkaton, Crobat, Rhyperior, Typhlosion, Articuno, our favorite, and Swadloon. It's actually a Terra Articuno, giving James flashbacks to that time that he got cooked by a Terra Articuno. Uh, may that
I got cooked. I would not say I got cooked by the Terror Articuno.
it was on the team that cooked you. That's all I know.
It was on the team.
It was on the team that
That's
cooked you.
true. I guess that does count for something.
Okay,
I
yeah. I mean,
do.
you go.
I'm a big fan. Sorry, I'm a big fan of definitely a high speed team with your Crobat and your Meowscarada and your Latias Mega. I think those three are really good like high speed picks. I think they can definitely terrorize a lot of like the base 100s, the like base 10 somethings.
Yeah.
Especially Meowscarada with that triple axle flower trick knockoff. It can do so much stuff with Protean. Um, And what else? Oh, Typhlosion. Eruption Typhlosion. Obviously, a Tara Articuno. I did see somebody saying in the Discord that if any Pokemon needs Terra, Articuno is probably the most that needs Terra.
Yeah.
That's definitely pretty accurate. Articuno is 4 times weak to rocks, and ice flying is not the greatest defensive type of all time. So I do think that having Terra on it is really good. I did see Terra Imperial putting in the work uh,
It
during
did.
during that first match there. Terra Fairy Imperial with Toxic. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And obviously Latios and Trapgos are definitely, and Urshifu too, are nothing to sneeze at in terms of powerful attacks.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree completely. Mess, you see anything you like here?
I like the fact that more than half of this team has some way of removing hazards.
That's what I was gonna say, actually. I
I
don't think
I
it's more than
think
half, but a massive
well,
amount.
it's a solid chunk.
It's Latios,
Like
Terapagos,
Latios,
Crobat.
Trapagos,
Ra-
Urshifu,
Urshifu
I
does
guess
not have a
Rapid
way.
Spin, I think.
It does not.
Oh, then
Dude,
I'm tripping.
what is with all the misinformation that's coming out of this? This is
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
insane.
just
trying to give
lying about
everyone
U-turn,
everything.
the best.
Sceptile, Rapid Spin,
All right,
Urshifu. This is crazy.
I'm,
Wait, did you say? Sorry, I was listening. You say Rapid Spin Urshifu?
He did say that.
my
He's
bad.
lying. It's not a thing.
He's,
It's
he's
fake.
lying.
It's
All
fake.
right,
It's
maybe I
fake
was.
news.
Uh, and I also like the fact that a lot of this team wants to set up a lot of like rocks and spikes. I
For
see
sure.
1, 2, 3 rockers. I
Yep.
think maybe Rhyperior gets spikes.
It does not.
Don't quote me on that.
It's only
Okay.
Meow on this team that gets spikes.
Oh,
But
oh, and
yep.
toxic spikes too.
It does get also toxic spikes, yes.
That one I'm
Um,
on. That one I know.
yeah, and there
Uh,
is no grounded poison on this team, which could be a bit of a drawback. I haven't actually been checking for that on any team, but I'll assume
That
the
is
other teams
true.
did a good job. Yeah, because Crobat could hold you back a little bit there, but obviously, yeah, like you said, you got Rhyperior, you got Terapagos, you got Tinkaton, who can all set rocks. You got, I think Swadloon gets webs, but I could be spreading misinformation as well. I just know Leavanny does.
I'm pretty sure
I
Swadloon
would
gets webs.
guess that it does.
I would also
And you got
does.
Crobat
I
with
assume that would
Defog, Terapagos with Rapid Spin, Latios with Defog, Articuno with Defog. You just really good hazard control and hazard setting on this team. I think that's a massive strength. And speed tiers are actually pretty good too. You got 97 below 100, you got 110 above it. And then the speed tiers kind of flatten out nicely from there. You do have a little bit of a drop off after 90. Well, no, 94 to 85. I think you're actually pretty good. I think you're good speed tiers wise. Um, I really like this team. You got a dark type, got a fairy type, got a steel type. No grounded poison, but I think you're chilling. You got enough hazard removal. Yeah. Are you guys ready to move on to the guessing pizza? Or
yes.
sorry, guessing the name.
yes.
I'm reading pizza right now because it says I eat
Yep.
pizza.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely
Maybe that is the
move
name.
on to the guess.
Name
Yeah,
could
maybe
be
it is
pizza.
pizza.
It's also a French
I got
person, I
one.
think. Okay, let's hear it.
Lucid Coffee.
Lucid.
Lucid. I'm
Not
we're
saying
going with
not
Lucian.
Lucan
Jean
again.
Luc. Jean Luc.
Sean Luke. Like John Luke or
Sean
Sean?
Like
Like
no. Jean
J-E-A-N.
Luc, as in like
okay,
Jean
okay.
Luc
J like
Picard.
Yeah.
Jean. John.
Yes, like
I
Yeah.
see
Jean.
what you're saying. Jean.
Jean Luc
Jean
Picard.
Luc.
Or
Alright,
drop the
I'm in.
Picard if you want.
I'm in. I'm in. Okay. I'm feeling like this person's name is George, but like with an S on the end.
I really want to say Jacques.
Maybe Jacques.
I guess I'm gonna go
Dude,
for.
I'm
At least
in.
I'm gonna go for it.
Jacques, could be George, could be Jean-Luc. So let's move
Or
on to
sorry.
Crystal Palace Crawdons with where's UTC plus 11? James looked that up while I'm
That's
talking. Oh, it's
UTC
Australia.
plus
Australia
11.
again. Steve Irwin once again. All right, Gallade Mega, Tapu Lele, Ting-Lu, Empoleon, Tangrowth, Bronzong, Kilowattrel, Delphox with Terra, Hitmontop, Darkspawn. So obviously you got the Chi-Yu counter sitting there in the bottom, which is pretty good. Gallade Mega, one of the best draft Pokemon. Tapu Lele obviously pairs nicely with Gallade Mega because you can get those boosted Psychic type moves from Gallade. Yeah, holy cow, 165 attacks, pretty insane. Ting Lu, very nice for hazard setting and a great defensive Pokemon. Empoleon also has hazard setting and hazard control and flip turn now. It's pretty crazy. Bronzong, you got rocks there too. You just got rocks galore on this team. With Zong, well, not beyond Zong, Empoleon and Lu, and Spikes on Lu. Spin with Hitmontop and Defog with Empoleon. So like the hazard removal is not quite as great, but I don't know that it has to be because you're not relying on a bunch of hazard weak Pokemon, and Delphox and Kilowattrel might be wearing boots anyway. So yeah, speed tier wise, I think you got Tapu Lele below 100, you got Delphox just above, and I think Delphox is for sure real to come in a game. Yeah, what are you guys' thoughts?
I think Tangrowth is going to get 0 kills this season. I'm calling it now. Not that I, just fixed,
Oh,
made it
thanks,
look
dude.
like added something to make it look like there's a 0. I think this is the team. This team is the reason why you draft a dark type Pokemon. This
Yeah.
is Spam at its finest.
Wow.
If you don't have a dark type and you're playing this team, make a trade. You, what we all know is coming to the next game. We're
Or
fine
bring a
with
Terra
that.
Dark Pokemon.
Or bring Terra Dark.
Well, yeah,
You
I
could also do
guess
that too.
the
But even then,
Delphox gets expanding force though, yeah.
between Tapu Lele and Gallade, dark types quiver in fear.
They do.
Uh, I don't know. I think it's a really nice balance between Spam and making sure that your Pokemon can withstand the dark types and ghost types that are the antithesis of Spam.
There's a
My
lot of psychic
opinion
types.
is
There's a lot.
that
There's a lot. There's four. There's
Four,
four.
yeah.
or my opinion is that Gregstrom hates physical attackers because you have Tinglu and you have Tangrowth and you have Hitmontop. And also sort of Bronzong. You can make an argument for Bronzong. There's definitely a very bulky team. Definitely bulky offense. You get like Empoleon, can definitely especially with the competitive, can definitely set up. Kilowattrel is always a menace. Delphox, I know Delphox is Delphox in particular that I'm thinking of that got 20 kills ish
Yep.
in a draft league that I played in recently. So I'm excited to see if
Right
this
there.
Terra Delphox gets close to that number. And then I think Tinglu and Tangrowth are always really solid picks.
For sure.
I'm excited. What I'm really excited to see is Glade Mega. I don't really see Glade Mega a ton. I don't think it's like that's because it's bad. I think it's just people don't really pick it that often. So I'm excited to see how it does. I'm excited to
Me
see
too.
like one base 165 attack, base 110 speed is a recipe for success. So yeah,
For sure.
and I'm happy to watch the team in action.
All right. I would agree. I think perhaps it is time to guess the name. So, not getting a lot from the Discord and Showdown names, but I'm going to guess because they're Australian. I think this person's name is Sydney. Yeah?
Sydney?
See, because that's the capital of Australia.
That
Is it
I see it.
SYDNEY or
I
is it
see
IDNY?
the
Well,
vision.
not
I see
ex-
the vision.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna
Yeah.
guess it's spelled like the capital.
Not with two E's at the end.
No, I don't think it's spelled with Sydney with
All
two
right.
E's at the end.
My guess is Jake.
Jake. One of us
Jake.
has to be right, right?
Well, you're right.
All right, we'll move on. Got two left. Miami Dustnor with versus 367, and then the real Wombats. All right, so they're Eastern Standard Time, same as us. So we should be better at guessing this name, right? So we got Iron Valiant, Celesteela, Hydreigon, Nidoqueen, Arcanine, Jellicent, Galvantula, Whimsicott, Regirock, Cryogonal, and Thwackey. Now, the first thing I'm seeing here is, so if you want to remove hazards, you're running Defog Hydreigon, Defog Whimsicott, or Cryogonal. And I'm not sure you want to be bringing Whimsicott and I mean, like, probably want to be bringing Whimsicott a decent amount because it's your Terra Captain. But I'm not sure if you want to be bringing Cryogonal or Defog on Hydreigon or Defog on your Terra Captain all that often. So you might have a little trouble removing hazards without losing some offensive power on your team. I do think the setting of hazards also a little bit lacking. Well, no. I guess Hydreigon could just be relegated to a defensive role because it gets rocks. Nidoqueen gets rocks and toxic spikes. Galvantula gets webs. So I do think Nidoqueen's a really solid rocker that could be brought almost every single week. Regirock obviously gets rocks, but Regirock is not very good. Uh, Same thing with Cryogonal. Like it gets spin, but I'm just not a big believer. I know James, I think you're a believer in Cryogonal.
I am a
But
huge believer in Cryogonal.
I will say
yeah,
I am
so
a believer in
so
Cryogonal.
I'll let you guys talk more about that, but I gotta say I'm not super high on this team. I do love Valiant, Celesteela, and Hydreigon as Pokemon, but yeah.
Yep.
I guess I'll go first. I think I don't know this team. I guess the one like besides Valiant, nothing really stands out to me as something that could be a real threat or like both offensively and defensively. Like Celesteela, big defensive threat. Iron Valiant, big offensive threat. Hydreigon can be just about anything you really want it to be. Be really passive or it can be really aggressive.
Sure.
Which you could say about most of the Pokemon on this team can be used really passively or really aggressively, which I think can be either a really good strength or a really bad weakness. Uh, and for all the Cryogonal truthers out there like myself, uh, a really fast spinner that has freeze dry is not really much to be laughed at. But what can I say?
Yeah, James, you got anything to add on to
I
that?
think I think this team is a lot of Pokemon that I personally am a huge fan of. It has Cryogonal that we talked about earlier. It has Galvantula. I think Galvantula is really good because it can set up webs. It has really good coverage. It has Energy Ball and the hidden powers, and it also has 90% accurate Thunder, which is huge. Getting
Yep.
that boost is massive.
You know what
Like
else is
Jellicent is
massive?
a really good
Low
physical wall,
taper
doing that
fade.
with the with the strength set. Arcanine is really good with extreme speed and flare blitz. Um, I'm not. This might just be personal opinion, but I'm not a huge fan of what Pokemon are terra'd on this team. I'm not sure if it's whatever, but
Yep.
I think there are maybe like Arcanine or something like Hydreigon. I'm not sure if they have the point real estate to really do that, but yeah. I do like Flaky. I'm excited to see if Flaky comes to a game or two because I think Grassy Terrain's really good, and
For
I
sure.
think the Flaky's underrated really.
Interesting. You're a
Base
thwacky.
base base 85 attack, boosted Grassy Terrain.
All right, let's move on to guessing the name of the Miami Dusknoir. So I'm feeling like this person
Time Zone
has
EST.
what?
Said Time Zone EST. This is their first
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
American
feel
region
like
for a while.
there's just a connection between them and AFC North elite quarterbacks. So I'm gonna say Joe. Say their name is Joe.
My guess is gonna be Leonard.
All right, I like it. Good answer. Good
Dude, yeah,
answer.
I like it. I like it.
I've been thinking, imagining the theme from the Forest Temple from Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time in my
Okay.
head for the past
So Link,
however so long. No, Colt.
Colt. Okay.
Yeah,
All right, let's move on to the Los Angeles Nido-Kings. Now look, I've recently have learned the names of the NHL teams, and the Los Angeles Kings is an NHL team. All right, so we got a team of
yeah.
Dragapult, Tornadus, Therian, Slowking, Galar. I think that might be the greatest three Pokemon in the entire world that I just stated in a row. Ignore that 06 on your screen.
Honestly, and then
Enamorance, Tornadus,
followed up
or
by Enamorus.
yeah, Tauros, Paldea Aqua, Celebi, Cyclizar, Steelix Mega, Sneasel, and Electrode. Now, this team is fast for sure. What you got? One, two, three, four, five, six above 100, two more at 100. So 8 of your 10 are 100 or above. That's pretty insane. Then you got two 30s. So the speed tier is a little bit tragic because anything 99 and below is running adamant or modest 100% of the time. Um, yeah, yeah. But Dragapult, obviously, best Pokemon in draft that has ever been and probably will ever be. Tornadus Therian, great Pokemon with the Regenerator pivoting, and you can run it a really strong Nasty Plot set. Dragapult can be run either physical or special or mixed. Namorous, another strong special attacker. I do think there's a little bit of a lack of physical attackers because obviously Glow King is special and Namorous is special. Tornadus, if it's going to be offensive, is usually special. Celebi, again, usually special. To go for, so you're down to physical Dragapult and basically Steelix Mega and I guess Shift Gear Cyclizar. And Sneasel, I guess, is kind of real because it's got triple axle. But yeah. So do you guys want to comment on this?
I actually do have a comment. My one question is, I'm not sure if you're interested yet, but is Steelix the only stealth rocker on this team, or does someone like Signal get it?
Cyclizar gets
kind
rock.
of
It's
like one of
been
the guys like
Celebi
would
gets
have
stealth
rocks,
rock.
but
Celebi gets rocks.
really?
Cyclizar.
I was
Does
gonna say I knew
does
someone weird on this
Slowking
team.
get rocks? Like
Slowking does
Slowbro
not.
gets rocks?
Slowbro does not get
Okay.
stealth rocks. So, dude,
I thought it did.
could we not be spreading misinformation?
Anyways, I do
I
agree
thought
about the lack of
Slowbro
physical
does not get
attackers on this
rocks.
team.
Yep.
I think the vast majority
I'm
of
tripping.
Pokemon with over a base 100 and over attack are normally run special. I think the only three that have run that usually or at least could run physical are Dragapult, Taurus, and Steelix. I do think that Steelix sort of is kind of weird in this case because he has that base 230 defense that you can use for body presses.
Yep.
Do big damage. Intimidate on Tauros. I think getting that intimidate off will be huge into a lot of teams. Be able to flip around. Does Peleus Aqua get a flip turn? I thought it did.
Does not get flip turn. Gets Aqua Jet, Wave
Dang.
Crash, Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt.
Okay, side
Not
tangent.
Raging Bolt.
Tauros Panea Aqua should 100% get flip turn.
Does it get U-turn like its
No, I doubt it.
predecessor? No. Okay.
Anyways, yeah, I think any team with Dragon Ball on it is going to be good. I think Dragon Ball, Tornadus, Darien, Slowking are all a really good core because you have Regenerator, and then Dragon Ball was a really good pivot too. Got a lot of pivots in this team.
Yeah.
I am a little tiny bit worried about, aside from Dragapult, does Tornadus get Nasty Plot?
It does, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a little bit of setup on this team, but
And Namorous gets Calm Mind, yeah. And Agility.
yeah, Namorous gets Combine, Tornadus gets
Well, Enamorous
Nasty
gets
Plot, Dragapult gets
Right.
Dragon Dance.
Yeah. I guess we're discounting Enamorous. It could be a physical attacker with like superpower contrary.
That's true.
I was about to say superpower in itself makes it a setup sweeper while also sweeping. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
there's
like
that.
And Ambrose can do any one of like 20 different things.
I think like James was saying though, Steelix Mega and Celebi being your rockers is a little bit you know.
Yeah.
And then obviously you got Tornadus to defog, but if you want it to be a more offensive set, like you don't have room for that. So then you're bringing Cyclizar to spin your stuff away. I just think it could use a little better hazards, and for sure the speed tiers could be way better. I mean, you're not going to get outsped by many teams, but they are going to be able to hit you pretty hard running just adamant natures and like probably no speed. Like if you have 99 and below speed, you're better off just running like adamant max attack and then no speed investment, just max HP. So it's going to be a little tough to
Yep.
kill things. Yeah.
Pokemon with Intimidate fear this team. And with a triple regenerator core.
Yeah,
Kinda
that is
crazy.
true. There's
I
triple
do think
regenerator.
that
I don't know. I've also never seen Celebi as a Terra
Captain.
captain. Very
That is
excited to see how that goes.
Had a rough week one.
I like that a
Yeah,
lot.
rough week one, but hopefully week two and onwards we can see a upward trend.
James,
I
what were
actually
you
like
saying?
Terra Captivity a lot because Celebi's biggest weakness is that humongous. Well, I mean, Grass like is really bad defensive typing,
Yeah.
and the biggest part about that is its humongous U-turn weakness. You get U-turn
Yeah.
more. Anything with U-turn. It doesn't even have to be stab. It doesn't even have to be a physical attacker. And you take like so much damage from it. So I think getting rid of that weakness would be massive for Celebi.
You know what else is massive?
I
Low taper
Overpaid. Anyways, the thing that I think is super cool about this team is that I think every single Dragon Ball, Tornadus, Enamorus, Celebi, sort of, Cyclozar are all do like so many different things with it. Dragon Ball, you can run physical special. Enamorus, you can run physical special. Tornadus, you can run as a sweeper or as a bulky pivot or even as like a physical attacker. I think the biggest strength of this team is its incredible versatility.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I do actually, what your point about Celebi dropping its terrible typing with the with Terra is that's a very good one. And plus it does maintain the good parts like the stabs, obviously when it Terras. So yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know. I have high hopes for this team, but yeah, it's just the speed tiers and the hazards just not great. Um, but let us discuss. What do you guys think the first name of this person is?
All right,
Could it
I've
be
got it.
Joey?
No,
I
it's
have a
not.
guess.
It's not
All
Joey.
right,
Okay.
it's no because its showdown name is Lies
Oh,
of
Lies of
J,
J.
Lies of J.
which
Oh,
means
dude,
J is a
it's a
lie.
lie. Oh,
Why do we have
man.
so many people? I mean, not Lukey, Lies of J.
Yeah, dude. They're all lying
They're
about their
lying.
A
names.
lot of
They're lying about
misinformation
their
A
going
names
lot of
on.
misinformation.
because it's a lie of J because you think it's going to be Joseph, but it's actually Joel. Because if you take
It's
Lies of J
Joel.
and read it backwards and drop about half the letters, it says Joel.
Oh, I think you're right. I think you actually got it right on this one.
Wait, he could be right.
I'm cooking.
My guess is Jackson.
I bet I actually am so in with Luke's guess. I think it probably is Joel. But let me guess something else. I'm gonna guess this Joey and Jay. It's just all to throw us off. I think his real name is Christian. That's my thought.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, with that, we are done with all the teams, and as per usual, we're going to pick our two finals teams and who's going to win. So, do one of you guys want to go first, or do you want me to?
Why don't you go first, David?
Why, thank
President
you.
Butts?
Yep, that's me. So just paging through. Holy cow, this is like exactly the same as Issa's team last season. Just paging through the teams right now. I've got so this one's not as much of a team pick. This is a player pick. I'm picking the Sydney Piplups to be in the finals. I do really like the team. I really like the spike stacking aspect of it. And I like that, you know, it's very viable to run boots, but you also got the defog with Rotom, and I think Klefki gets defog. Cloister gets spin. You know, I kind of like this team. Um, and I also really like the player. They've been getting a lot better. And for my other, let's see, for my other finals team, I'm going to pick, drumroll please. I'm going to pick, I'm going to pick the Funky Fennekin. I really like this team. Really like the Latios Mega plus Urshifu plus Meowscarada plus Dropghost. It feels illegal to get all those Pokemon on the same team and still have Tinkaton and Terra Rhyperior, and obviously the GOAT Terra Articuno there. So those would be my two finals teams I'm predicting. And I will predict that in a hard fought game, because we don't do series anymore, it's going to end with a 1-0 victory for the Sydney Piplups.
Yes, I'm sure.
All right.
I have no doubt.
Okay.
All right,
My
I'll go
guess is.
next.
Oh,
Oh,
you got it now? Okay, you get next. You get
no.
next.
All right, I'll go next. My picks for the finals is the Confused Cramorants
Okay.
versus the Crystal Palace Crawdons.
It's Cramorants and the
Yep.
Crystal Palace Crawdons.
I like I like teams with a theme, and I think this specific Sun team and this specific Side Spam team will do pretty well.
All right.
I don't know, based off vibes.
And
And
who do
I
you think's going to
say
win?
between the two, I think that the confused Cramorants with Roaring Moon and Goldengo will be able to break through that psychic barrier that is this Spam team.
All right, I'm in. James, got your prediction?
My predictions is that the Glass Cannons will make the
Glass
finals,
cannons. Okay.
and my other prediction is that uh, the Funky Fennekin will make the finals. And I
Wow,
think
two funky
Oh,
Fennekins.
two Funky Fennekin.
the finals game is gonna be a 2-0 victory for JOSM and the Glass Cannons. That'll be my
Wow.
guess.
So you're picking Jason, who has made it to the second plate finals last time he was here, to be fair.
This is true.
Picking him to take it even farther this season. All right. I mean, I
Yep,
like that
that's
pick. I
good one at
like
all.
that pick. All right. So do you guys have any last thoughts on this? I'll probably trim the fat before I post it, but
So you, yes, you watching the video, you should like and subscribe. I want to see 100% like to viewer ratio. I see 100% of people subscribe to the Crazies channel from this video. I want to see 50 comments.
for sure. For
50?
sure.
All right.
50. 50. We're setting lofty goals here.
I
You don't have to
agree.
As we
comment
should.
actually if you don't want to because it is kind of a hassle. But the other things take like 5 seconds, so it's worth doing.
I'm in. See everyone.